Spanish media say the country's former king, Juan Carlos, has gone into self-imposed exile in the Dominican Republic. After leaving the nation he reigned over for almost 40 years. There has been no official confirmation yet. He chose to go abroad after being implicated in a corruption investigation. It's a shocking decision for the former monarch, who had such a pivotal role in Spain's modern history. He ascended to the throne in November 1975, just 2 days after the death of the fascist dictator General Franco. At the time, he vowed to be a king for all Spaniards. He soon ignored Franco's supporters, though, who wanted an extension to autocratic rule, and instead he ushered in a new system of parliamentary and monarchy. In 1981, he helped defuse an attempted coup when a group of civil guard officers stormed the lower house of parliament. They took hundreds of MPs hostage. A lavish elephant hunting trip during Spain's financial crisis in 2012 and corruption allegations involving his daughter's husband led to calls for him to step aside. So he abdicated in June 2014 in favour of his son Felipe. He said the decision to step down had been to make way for a new generation. Let's take you to our Europe correspondent Nick Beek, who joins us now. Nick, what's being made of the timing of this decision by the former king?
Well, Lucy, it's interesting listening to people on the streets in Spain. This is one where everyone seems to have an opinion, whether they're monarchists, Republicans. People are quite strident in their views. I mean, the timing is interesting. This announcement was made, and certainly Juan Carlos is not hanging around. We know that he has now left, and as you say, the suggestion, certainly in the Spanish media, is that he's gone to the Dominican Republic. There's no clarification of that. There's no confirmation, but certainly a number of newspapers saying that he made the trip via Portugal and now is looking to find a place more in the medium and long term where he'll begin this self-imposed exile.
What is this corruption scandal that he's embroiled in, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty complicated, Lucy, but basically it's on two fronts. You've got the Spanish Supreme Court, prosecutors there saying back in June that they're going to be looking into his alleged role in this high-speed railway network in Saudi Arabia and any role he may have played in that. Back in March, a Swiss newspaper made the allegation that the former Spanish king, had received $100 million as a payment from the former Saudi king. So this is something that investigators want to look at. At the same time, you've got the authorities in Switzerland looking at two particular bank accounts with hundreds of millions of dollars said to be in them, apparently linked to the former king in Spain. And so this is all whirling around. And even though he may have left the country, this work continues. And his lawyers saying last night, preempting the allegations we've seen today, the criticism that he's fleeing any sort of justice that might come, they're saying he'll cooperate fully with inquiries in Spain.
Nick, we've just heard that Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is going to give a press briefing after he's met with his cabinet. We'll wait and see if he addresses all of this and gives us some confirmation then. But we still are looking for more reaction from everyone, really. And I wonder if we've heard from the current king.
No, I mean, what we've had so far, Lucy, extends to the press statement from the royal household last night. I mean, interesting, if you read into that, on the one hand, the current king is thanking his dad for his historic role and reminding the country that he was a key figure, really, in bringing this rather smooth transition from dictatorship to democracy, albeit with that pretty dramatic attempted coup at the start of the 1980s. But also the current monarch reminding everyone that the country is based on the rule of law. And so, in other words, people can't evade that in any way, shape or form. So I think that's interesting. And also, of course, it's the latest attempt by King Felipe, the current monarch, to try and salvage the reputation of the monarchy after so many scandals in recent years. Back in March, a few months ago, he was saying that he won't take on his father's inheritance. And also, crucially, he said he'd stop the allowance for his father, the former king. And, that's a pretty weird inversion, isn't it, of the normal setup where a parent might stop the pocket money to a child. But I mean, in this case, it wasn't pocket money. It was 200 million euros a year that the former king Juan that was receiving. And so, I mean, this is the latest effort, it seems, by the current monarch to try and salvage the monarchy and, I guess, Lucy, ensure its long-term survival.
Indeed, Nick, thanks for joining us.